FRYSC is a multitude of things. I describe our jobs as miscellaneous. We kind of pick up the slack where everybody, needs help.
They're hungry, we help feed them. They need clothes, we clothe them. Parents need help with bills, we do our best to help with bills. We find outside resources. If we can't do it, then we'll find outside resources to help the families in any way so that it doesn't hinder educational learning.
FRYSC is an acronym for Family Resource and Youth Services Centers. We are one of the only, if not the only, remaining aspect of CARA when CARA came through back in 1991. And so the Youth Services Centers, Family Resource Centers at elementary schools, we've been in schools since 1991, working to remove non-academic barriers that keep students from learning in the classroom.
Without FRYSC, a lot of our students may be struggling academically due to lack of things that they have in their home, lack of resources that they might have, whether it's providing a backpack or clothing or food bags, things like that will help them be able to concentrate when they get to school.
I think it helps them focus more knowing they don't have to go home and worry about food. Or if they are worrying about food, even during the school day, they know where they can come. If you need a little snack, then you can get back to class so you'll be able to focus better. We're an all-around we support in any type of way to help them achieve.
The legislators back in 1991 realized that, and through that, they created the Family Resource Youth Service Centers. And with FRYSC, we really try to find out what the needs are at our school, especially the non-academic ones, and we really work hard to fill those needs so that students are sitting in their class and their bellies are full, and they feel better about themselves, or they just went on a college visit and learned that, man, maybe I could go to college and do something. And if we're helping with those aspects, then students can be more focused when they sit in class to learn those things that they need to do so that they can graduate and become successful members of our society.
So we're not locked into one specific thing as our role as FRYSC, but we're here to eliminate any barriers that students might have to learning. And I think that plays a role in how we handle each situation. So we could be involved in the academic portion of it, or the basic needs portion, or family counseling, mental health. So we are the total package when it comes to the school, I think.
It can be tiring sometimes. You stress, you take it home with you. They might not be your biological kids, but those are your babies. So you want to worry about if you didn't get something figured out, what's going to be next? Are they going to be safe? Do they have shelter? Do they have food? You take it home with you. So I think the stress of the unknown sometimes is hard.
And what each of us do, there's 55 centers, 48 coordinators, and we do different tasks, different roles at different schools, depending on what our needs are.
Right now, we're seeing a big incline with mental health issues and being able to provide the resources, and families not having the funding. It's expensive to get those kind of services, and working with the community to bring people in to address those issues. We're seeing a big increase in the mental issues and the things that our students are dealing with. And just the basic everyday things, like paying rent, and rent has gone up so much just to rent a house. So having our students facing homelessness, due to just the cost of living, that's been a really big challenge. The race relations, I'm seeing a little bit of that increase with all the things that are happening in our society, and trying to bring kids together and make them understand and be aware of the different cultures. We have 22 different nationalities at Hayes, and blending those in together, sometimes becomes a challenge, but I think our school does well to address those and making sure that everybody feels safe and heard at Hayes.
Biggest challenges at my school is food and clothing. So getting donations from people, having the community partners that will give food donations or give you clothing donations. Usually at my school, a lot of the staff, they'll go out and get stuff too to make sure we have the right size clothing for our kids. So just knowing you have all your resources together and who you can contact, that helps a lot.
So many of the issues that come up with our students, there's a wide variety, and whether it's homelessness or hunger or just needing mentor volunteers, to come in their life and mentor students, or college, everything. And with those type of situations, a lot of times the problems that students come in and are facing are way more than what my little center can handle. And so having and building community partners throughout the city, even at the state level, that we can go to and say, hey, I've got a student that's working with this, and being able to, call Arbor Youth and get a student placed there, calling the Salvation Army, getting a family placed there, scheduling a specific college visit to take a student that's just as interested in something specific for that school. Doing those type of details and having those connections with others in our community, that's how we get stuff done.
We got hit hard this year, so you have to think outside the box sometimes on who to contact and how to ask for things. So being able to communicate good with the community to get those items can be tough sometimes, but once you get a good partner, you got to stick with it.
For FRYSC, being here over the years, we've seen an decrease in our budget. So a lot of times we're program driven and providing resources. So it's based on our budget and the funding that we get from the state level and donations in our community. So our operation budget is always an increase or decrease. So I think that really affects how we are able to address the needs of our students, not having that consistent amount of money that we know is coming in. I make a joke and say I've become a professional beggar over the years, because I'm not afraid to ask, because I want to make sure our students have what they need. But it takes a lot. You have to kind of be creative when it comes to reaching out and getting resources for the students. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I have.
Reaching out to community partners and getting donations, because my budget is getting smaller every year. So being able to help bring in some extra funds to help with some of the problems that we need to solve with the kids, that's a big challenge. And sometimes the challenge is not having an answer for what we can do to fix it. Sometimes kids come in and there's just so much that they're like emotionally vomiting, for lack of a better word. Listening to that and just knowing, I can't take you out of your house, I can't bring you home, I can't, what can I actually do? And finding those creative solutions is very challenging, very rewarding, but very challenging at the same time.
I absolutely love what I do. I think it's very rewarding on our end, and being able to connect families and the staff and the community, and putting it all together to make sure that these kids are successful and they have what they need in order to be successful. I think that's my why. I enjoy making sure that people come together. I care a lot about people. It's my passion, just to make sure that they have that one step. And if there's something that I can do to give them that one step ahead, I think that's my why.
My why doing this job is because I was one of those kids in elementary school. I came from a single parent home. My mom struggled to take care of me. We had to get resources from other people sometimes. So being able to do it for somebody else, when I know how it feels, it feels good. And you can tell on the kid's face that you've helped them.
So the most rewarding thing about being a FRYSC has to be walking through the hallways and having kids just say, hey, Miss Chastain. Those connections with the kids, that is what makes all the heartache and all the hard work and the long hours and the paperwork and the grant writing, makes all that stuff worthwhile. Just knowing that you've made a connection with the kid, and the students and parents appreciate what you've done and really take the time to acknowledge you. And having been at Lafayette for so long, I have connections throughout the city, really, because a lot of the kids that I had 18 years ago, they're adults, and I have their kids now. I mean, longer than 18, but I have many second generation students at my school. So having those connections with the families and the extensiveness that comes with that, that's incredibly rewarding.
The misconception of FRYSC is that we just hand out underwear and clothes or socks or pencils, and we do so much more in the community, from coordinating summer camps and coordinating things with the community for mental health issues, working directly with our students and parents and being the liaison between that. We do a lot of shopping and picking up supplies for the whole school. I think the misconception that bothers me is that we're just there to hand out socks and underwear and school supplies, and it's so much more than that within our job. Our grant components require us to address a lot of things, whether it's summer employment, summer camps, basic needs of the students, the mental health issue, the health issue of the students. So it's not just handing out socks and underwear, it's so much more.
I think sometimes people might think that we're just out of the building, not doing anything, because sometimes I think in a school, and this is no fault to anybody, but if you don't see me, you kind of forget about me, and then you think, oh, well, she's not doing anything. She's not in the building. And maybe on the way back from a home visit, I run by McDonald's and grab a Coke so I can get through the rest of the day. And the perception is, because I'm walking in with a soda, that I'm just out eating lunch, doing whatever. And the truth is, I don't typically eat lunch. I am running around working, trying to help the kids. So just the perception that just because we're not doing as good of a job promoting ourselves doesn't mean that we're not out there working really hard for our kids.